Good afternoon. Thank you for making time to join us on Citizen Live at 1. I am Anne Kiguta. The High Court has suspended 8 clauses of the Security Laws Amendment Act 2014, which it deemed to have immediate negative impacts on the citizenry, pending the hearing and determination of a petition by the Coalition of Reforms and Democracy. Now, the suspended clauses include freedom of the press, the right to fair trial, and clauses touching on international obligations to the rights of refugees. The new law had sought to limit the number of refugees in the country to a maximum of 150,000. Justice George Odunga was, however, short of suspending the entire act, observing that there were elements in the act that would not immediately interfere with fundamental freedoms and could be operational as the case proceeds. Court Coalition had sought conservatory orders on the act, claiming that it is unconstitutional and that it was unprocedurally passed in the National Assembly. The case has now been forwarded to the Chief Justice to constitute a bench of not less than 3 judges to hear the matter expeditiously.
Made in this case is when it's time to study the bill, consider their stance, and formulate. I grant conservatory orders suspending the following clauses in the Security Laws Amendment Act number 19 of 2014, together with the amendments with respective statutes, pending the hearing and the determination of these petitions. 1. Clause 12, which inserted Section 66A to the Penal Code. 2. Clause 16, which inserted Section 42A to the Criminal Procedure Code. 3. Clause 26, which inserted Section 20A to the Evidence Act. 4. Clause 29, which inserted Section 59 to the Evidence Act. 5. Clause 48, which inserted Section 16A to the Refugees Act. 6. Clause 56, which repealed and substituted Part 5 of the National Intelligence Service Act. 7. Clause 58, which amended Section 65 of the National Intelligence Service Act by deleting the word Parliament and substituting therefore the word National Assembly. And 8. Clause 64, to the extent that it introduces Sections 30A and 30F of the Prevention of Terrorism Act. Pursuant to Article 165.4 of the Constitution, I hereby certify that these petitions raise substantial question of law under Clause 3B and D of Article 165. Accordingly, I direct that these petitions be transmitted to the Honorable the Chief Justice forthwith for purpose of impaneling an even bench of not less than 3 judges assigned by him to hear and determine the petitions.
We have virtually secured almost all the conservatory orders we are seeking for, short of annulling the entire act at this preliminary level, which we believe the judge has set ground towards achieving.
At least the judge has exercised the judicial independence to come out on the side of the people of Kenya. He stated very clearly, which is actually spelled out in the Constitution, that the sovereignty in the Republic of Kenya vests in the people of Kenya, and that the people can either exercise it directly or donate it through other institutions.
The outgoing Inspector General of Police, David Kimayo, has officially left the police service. Kimayo handed over the office to Samuel Arachi, who was appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta as the acting Inspector General. While speaking during the handing over ceremony, Kimayo challenged the judiciary to support the police service in the fight against terror while supporting the implementation of the new security laws. Kimayo moves to the Kenya Airports Authority, where he will be serving as chairman.
It will be handed over to him, but now let us give support. It has reached the day that I'm handing over the baton to the next person who will be able also to run the race. And when it reaches a time, the same baton is handed over to the next officer. I have done my bit in this particular capacity, and a time has come for me to hand over to another person.
Like the president has said, we are at war with terror. And all of us, security agencies, members of the public, our leaders must work together, and more so for the members of the public in giving information and intelligence that would lead us in interdicting the bad elements before they cause mayhem in this country.
From security to education matters now. In Wiki Primary School from Ruiru Sub-County was probably the school with the highest number of candidates in last year's Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations. Tom Wanjala tells us how this school with 468 candidates performed and the challenges it faced.
This was about 2 months ago when Citizen TV highlighted the plight of Wiki Primary School in Ruiru Sub-County, a public school with almost 3,000 pupils who do not have a playing ground, while on parade teachers use a public address system to communicate with the large number of pupils.
Followed by class 8, Zambezi.
It is also the school with one of the highest candidates nationally, 468 candidates to be exact. The best pupil John Ngugi scored 376 marks in last year's exams.
Nahisi vizuri juu huyu mtoto alikuwa na shida sana, hata hiyo mambo ya mkono wake ilikuwa imenishangaza sana. Nilikuwa nimestuka hata nikashindwa na kufanya namna gani juu nilienda nikampeleka huko Thika District Hospital, akatimbiwa, akafurutwa mkono, alafu akapelekwa kwa theater, haikupona.
It was not an easy job to train my left hand within such a short time, but God really helped me.
Since his right hand was broken, John had to learn how to write using his left hand in KCPE. He managed to get straight A's in English and Swahili.
We performed well. Our mean score was relatively good. The school mid grade was a C plane. But we really feel that we did not do as much as we had wanted to do. So we're expecting that next year we are going to do much better.
Most of the candidates from this school managed to score more than 250 marks. Area Member of Parliament Esther Nyambura provided them with geometrical sets and clipboards and has promised to help in building more classrooms this year, besides setting up a perimeter wall. The high number of pupils in school is proving to be a nightmare to the administration, as well as parents who have to do with the poor infrastructure. Tom Wanjala, Citizen TV.
A cloud of uncertainty has engulfed the much-anticipated plan to relocate families living and trading along the railway line in Kibera and Mukuru slums. A section of people affected by the project in Kianda area in the vast Kibera slums have vowed not to move to some temporary structures that have been put up by the Kenya Railways, even as plans to move them to permanent houses near completion. And as Patrick Igunza now reports, the defiant residents allege that there is a plot afoot to shortchange them before they get their rightful new homes.
Kibera, one of the few areas where a railway line passes right across crowded human settlement. Over the years, encroachment has made it commonplace for people to reside next to the railway line. The dwellers oblivious of the risks posed by infringing on the railway track.
Now, it is structures like these and these that dangerously house families and businesses along the railway line that prompted the mooting of the relocation action plan by the Kenya Railways. Now, that initiative seeks to relocate 30,000 households by September next year. But if the situation on the ground is an indication to go by, then the plan is bound to face some challenges.
And that's because a section of residents here are opposed to plans to first move them to these temporary structures before being relocated to the permanent ones shortly thereafter. We have concealed their identities for security reasons.
Mahali tumekaa at least ni 15 meters kutoka kwa reli. Wameturudisha sasa karibu na 2 meters kwa reli.
I will not move because you cannot take me from a dangerous place, then you bring me to the most dangerous place.
They claim the initial agreement was to see them relocate straight to these modern and highly secured residential and business units. They don't understand the sudden change of plan.
Hatukatai kuhama, lakini wangesema tuhamiswe kwa hizi nyumba siko safe, itakuwa hatari kuliko kutoweka kwa hizi nyumba siko karibu kabisa na nani.
Kenya Railways Managing Director could not be reached for a comment, but last November he told me that the measure was triggered by scarcity of land.
The pace of construction has been affected by the fact that we were not able to get enough space to construct as we move them on board.
A source at Kenya Railways who spoke on condition of anonymity intimated that the corporation is well aware of the resistance on the ground and is working on modalities to reach a consensus. Through a text message, the source points that resistance is being fueled by a rowdy group dubbed the Langata Youth Network, comprising of non-affected individuals whose aim is to halt the project. The text further reads that close to 335 people affected by the project have been relocated to the temporary structures in parts of Kibra, including 24 from Kianda areas. 92 more are set to be relocated from tomorrow, Friday the 2nd of January. But will those aggrieved by the current plan welcome the idea?
Mahali tuko hata gari ya mozi ikipita tuko juu. Na mahali hizi wametuleta iko chini, hata gari ikiteresa tu kidogo itapata tuko ndani kwa hiyo.
So you look at these houses, so they are small in size. So assuming somebody you have a family, so a wife, and 4 kids. So you can't be comfortable in these rooms.
Further complicating the prospects is the alleged emergence of cartels robbing unsuspecting slum dwellers of their money, promising to secure them these highly desired homes.
Kuna watu tunafanya nao na tena tunakaa nao, hawakuwa kwenye ile, hawakusajiliwa, lakini wanasema wamepeana, wengine wametoa 50,000, wengine wametoa up to 100,000, ikisemekana ya kwamba nyumba watatengewa nyumba moja moja.
In no uncertain terms, the residents are telling the Kenya Railways that someone somewhere is out to profiteer from the 7.6 billion shillings project.
When they told us that we were to contribute 10,000 each, so I don't know exactly we were to move to these houses or to the permanent houses.
I have the receipt from the Kenya Railways, but my name does not appear. That one gives me a lot of worry because I may miss this permanent building and they are the houses that have waited for long.
But according to the source at Kenya Railways, the affected people will be relocated to the permanent houses once issues surrounding basic amenities including water and electricity supply are sorted out. These worried residents can only hope that this life-changing project that started on a positive note but which has run into hurdles will eventually end well, and that the relocation action plan won't become a house of cards that will leave those identified as genuine beneficiaries counting losses instead. Patrick Igunza, Citizen, Live at 1.
Bad weather is slowing down recovery efforts of remains of the ill-fated AirAsia flight 8501. While investigators have about 25 days until the so-called black boxes run out of batteries, making them much more difficult to find.
An array of flowers adorn these hastily constructed caskets. They carry the bodies of the few crash victims recovered from the Java Sea. Religious leaders offer prayers and support as families arrive to identify loved ones. The body of the flight captain has not yet been recovered. His family's mourning is tempered by the smallest hope for a miracle. They speak of him in the present tense.
He is kind, wise, and humorous. He's easygoing, he's intelligent, he never raises his voice, he's never angry. I'm very proud of him.
The mayor of Surabaya, from where the plane took off, says many families are still praying for a miracle.
I'm very concerned and worried if they don't find the bodies, and I have to be strong because they may still think they're still alive.
But bad weather is making the search for additional victims more difficult. And those same storms may also hamper efforts to find the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder before their locator beacon batteries are depleted in about 25 days.
There in the tail section, if we had an in-flight breakup, and the tails do come off sometimes in thunderstorms, that could be many miles away from the rest of the floating debris and the submerged debris.
Those left in limbo continue to mourn, to pray, and to build more caskets. I'm Stacey Cohan, reporting.
A would-be robber in Pennsylvania, USA was busted after cops followed the paper trail. Now, what makes the arrest even more interesting is that it was a trail of toilet paper that blew the cover of the suspected robber.
It happened here Saturday night when a man entered Michael Maria's pizza shop.
He handed the employee 2 pieces of toilet paper, and on the toilet paper it had wrote, "I have a gun on me. give me $300.
Police identified that man as Eric Fry.
And he said, there's a guy outside that has a gun on me, and if I leave this store without $300, he's going to shoot me.
The suspicious clerk saw the note Fry was carrying and hit the secret alarm at the counter, as Fry said the guy with the gun would come inside the shop. When officers arrived, Fry was still there, telling police he was relieved they saved him. But Lieutenant Kolensik wasn't buying the story and found evidence at Fry's apartment.
He actually wrote on the roll. He didn't tear it off, and it was actually kind of encrypted onto the toilet paper roll, which matched up perfectly.
Fry also faces more trouble because Kolensik said he also found drug paraphernalia.
That turned up another big find, which was over 3 ounces of marijuana, which subsequently is a possession with intent to deliver charge, which is another felony on top of the robbery and the theft that he did at the pizza shop.
Well, it's safe to say that the members of one Ohio family will never forget a birthday. That's because they're all New Year's babies, including the newest edition, born just yesterday. Here's the story of that Cleveland family's shared special day.
In a million.
Raheem Stover was born New Year's Day, 1978. His wife Kiana was born New Year's Day, 1980. They always thought that was quite a coincidence. Until now. The couple's firstborn, a baby girl, born on this day, New Year's Day 2015.
To even share a birthday with somebody that you love and then to have your daughter born on the same day, like I said, it's unbelievable. It's a blessing.
Amid all the doting and kisses, Dad can't believe the odds. The whole family now shares the same birthday on New Year's.
Just for two people to be born and know each other and be in love is a stat within itself on New Year's, and then to have the same birthday. But then, like I said, to have a child on that day also, first child together, that's like a whole nother stat within itself.
Dad says to celebrate next year, they'll each get their own birthday cake. However,
somebody's gonna have to celebrate theirs on the 31st. And then somebody's gonna have to go exactly on the 1st, and maybe somebody might have to take the 2nd. But eventually we'll just all celebrate together. We chose the name Autumn because that's one of our favorite seasons.
And they're fine that Autumn's birthday falls on New Year's Day, just like Mom and Dad.
How cute. Time for us to take a break. We're back with more after these messages. Don't go away.